Myself, Dr. Dakshayani, working as an assistant professor in Government First Grade College, Rajajinagar. So, in this PowerPoint presentation, I am starting with the unit number 4, that is foreign exchange risk. So, for 6th semester BBA students. So, in this PPT, I am going to discuss about the meaning and types of exchange risk and also transaction exposure. This second topic, that is transaction exposure, will also be continued in my next session, that is session number 34. So let me discuss what you mean by exchange risk. Whenever I am using the word exchange risk, it is nothing but foreign exchange risk, students. Okay. So what is this foreign exchange risk? So it is associated to what? Unpredicted fluctuations in the value of currencies. So what is foreign exchange risk? It is nothing but unpredicted fluctuations and changes in the value of currency. So value of currency, it keeps on changing due to unpredicted fluctuations. A strong currency is very risky. It is said that a strong currency is very risky while a weak currency may not be risky. So the risk level always depends on what? Whether the fluctuations can be predicted or not. Any fluctuations cannot be predicted. That is, wherever we cannot predict the fluctuations, then we can say that the risk is very high. But on the other hand, whenever we say that the fluctuations can be predicted, then there we can say that the risk associated is very less. Whether the fluctuations is for short or long term. That is, the fluctuation may be either for a short period or for a long period, but even though it has a direct impact on what? Profitability and competitiveness of business. So the short term may agirli, long term may agirli fluctuation, whatever the situation is, it will have a direct impact on what? Profit earning capacity and also the competitiveness of the business. This is about foreign exchange risk. Now, how do you manage this foreign exchange risk? So this is a big and a challenging task in front of in case of international trade for the investors. That is, the foreign exchange market, it consists of two markets. What are those? Spot market and forward, which is also called as future market. And these two types of market I have already discussed in my earlier sessions. The spot market, it deals with foreign exchange which is delivered within 2 business days or less than 2 days. Okay, so spot market it is a foreign exchange which is delivered within either 2 days or day. Whenever I use the word days, it is nothing but the business days or less than 2 days. The transactions in the spot market, it quotes the rate of exchange prevalent at the time the transaction took place. Andre illi a transaction nadibekadre whatever was the prevalent andre existing rate of exchange ಏನಿತ್ತು ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ, ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಟೈಮ್ ಆಫ್ the time at which the transaction took place, that will exist in case of spot market. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, transactions in the spot market, it quotes rates of exchange prevalent at the time of what? The transaction that took place. Typically, a bank will quote a rate at which it is willing to buy the currency. ಅದನ್ನೇನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ? bid rate, and the rate at which it will sell a currency. So buying a currency ಅಂದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು bid rate ಅಂತಾರೆ, selling a currency ಅಂದರೆ offer rate for delivery of the particular currency. ಆಯಿತಾ? So ಈ bid rate, offer rate also I have already discussed in my previous sessions. So typically I am repeating, a bank will quote a rate, foreign exchange rate, at which it is willing to buy the currency, that is bid rate, and the rate at which it is ready to sell a currency, which is called as what? Offer rate for the delivery of the particular currency. Now let us discuss about forward market. So forward market is for foreign exchange to be delivered in how many days? 3 days or more. 2 days ಅಥವಾ 2 ಡೇಸ್ಗಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. 3 days or more ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ? ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ in quoting the forward of a currency, a bank will quote a bid and offer the rate for delivery typically 1, 2, 3 or 6 months after the transaction date. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಡೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ 1 ತಿಂಗಳು ಅಥವಾ 2 ತಿಂಗಳು ಅಥವಾ 3 ಅಥವಾ 6 months ಆದಮೇಲೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕೋಟ್ ಐದರ್ ಎ ಬಿಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಫರ್ ರೇಟ್. ಆಯಿತಾ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಮೇ ಕೋಟ್ ಐದರ್ ಎ ಬಿಡ್ and also offer a rate, so only after 1, 2 or 3 or even it may extend to 6 months after the transactions date. The exchange rate are considered by multinational companies as a crucial important factor affecting their profitability. Of course, many of the multinational companies' profitability is affected because of this exchange rate. This is because exchange rate fluctuation directly impacts the sales revenue of firms exporting goods and services. ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಂಪನಿ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಹೈ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ರೇಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ರೇಟ್ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಚುಯೇಷನ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ of which is derived from the sales, either from the exporting of goods and services. Future payments in a foreign currency always it carry the risk that the foreign currency will depreciate in value before the foreign currency payment is received and is exchanged into Indian rupees. ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಟ್ರೇಡಲ್ಲಿ ಭಯ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ರಿಪೀಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ ಎ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ದ ರಿಸ್ಕ್. What is that risk? That a foreign currency may depreciate, ಅಂದರೆ its value may come down. ಯಾವಾಗ before the foreign currency payment is received. So ನೀವು by the time you receive your payment in the form of foreign currency, the value of the currency would have come down and it is exchanged into Indian rupees. So when by the time you could convert your foreign currency into Indian rupees, the value of the rupee might have depreciated. So this is what is the risk which is associated with what future payments. So thus foreign exchange risk therefore poses one of the greatest challenges to MNCs. So this is considered to be the major challenge in front of MNCs. Now let us discuss the definition of exchange risk. According to correspondent has defined exchange risk as business that sell goods or services to customers overseas. Overseas ಅಂದರೆ throughout the world, between one country and another country, and are paid in a foreign currency, are exposed to foreign exchange risk. Okay, this is very much evident from the definition that whenever you are undertaking international trade, the international trade is always exposed to foreign exchange risk. Why? Because of the fact that you are dealing with the business of selling or either the goods or services, okay, throughout the world ಅಥವಾ overseas. To manage that exposure effectively, ಆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್ನ ನಾವು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಇನ್ನರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್. ಸೊ ಹೌ ದಿಸ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಟು ಸಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಐ ಬಿಲೀವ್ ದಟ್ ಆರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮೆನ್ ದೇ ಫೀಲ್ ದಟ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದಿಸ್ exchange risk. Okay, I am repeating students, the definition given by correspondent, that is business that sell goods or services to customers overseas and are paid in a foreign currency, they are always exposed to foreign exchange risk. And to manage this exchange risk exposure effectively, they must understand the inner working of what foreign exchange risk. So you can buy this definition from the examination point of view. Now let us move on to the next topic, types of exchange exposure. There are two types of exchange exposure. The first one you have is economic exposure and the second one you have is translation exposure. Under economic exposure we have transaction exposure and operating exposure. So the first one you have is economic exposure. So what do you mean by economic exposure? Economic exposure refers to the degree to which a firm's present value of future cash flow can be influenced by exchange rate fluctuations. Okay, this is the meaning of economic exposure. It is a degree to which a firm's present value ಅಂದರೆ ಕಂಪನಿದು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅಂತಂದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಐದರ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೋ ಆರ್ ಔಟ್ಫ್ಲೋ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಅಂದರೆ ದ ಕಂಪನಿದು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ವಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ರೇಟ್ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಚುಯೇಷನ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೋ that is the cash flow will always be affected because of this changes in the exchange rate. Economic exposure, it affects the profitability of the company. So yavaga idu cash flow change agutto due to changes in the exchange rate, definitely the profit of the company also will be affected over long period of time than the transaction or translation exposure. ಸೊ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಏನು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಂಪನಿ ಓವರ್ ಲಾಂಗರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ವೆನ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್. ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ವೆನ್ ಎವರ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಸ್ ಟು ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. Under the Indian exchange control, economic exposure cannot be hedged. Cannot be what? That is hedged andre ನಾನು ಆಗಲೇ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. What do you mean by hedging? It is nothing but controlling, okay, or exercising a control over the financial risk, okay. Athwa you can also say that it is nothing but reducing the risk of uncertainty, controlling the risk of what? Uncertainty which may exist while international trade. Okay, so this is the third point under economic exposure. While both transaction and translation exposure can be hedged, ಇವೆರಡು hedge ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, but economic exposure arises when the net present value of a firm's expected cash flows changes due to an unexpected change in foreign exchange rate. ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗ ಕಂಪನಿದು ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ, ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಆನ್ ಅನ್ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಅನ್ಪ್ರೆಡಿಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ವಾಟ್? ಫಾರಿನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ರೇಟ್. Okay, so that is why economic exposure cannot be hedged, while both the transaction and translation exposure can be hedged. An expected change in exchange rate is not included in the definition of economic exposure. ಸೊ ಇದೊಂದು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ್ಯನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ನ ನಾವು ಇನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಡೆಫಿನಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್, ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಡೆಫಿನಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್? ಆ್ಯನ್ ಅನ್ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾವುದು ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಅನ್ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್? ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಡೆಫಿನಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್? ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್. Expected changes are already incorporated into the decision making of a firm. So expected changes ಅಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, we can predict what changes can take place. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕಂಪನಿಯವರು they will include these changes in their decision making process. Since economic exposure, it emphasizes the impact of exchange rates on operating cash flows. Economic exposure is also called as what? Operating exposure. So idunu napka idkolli, economic exposure is also called as what? Operating exposure. Why? Because it is giving an emphasis or stress on the impact of exchange rate on what? Cash flows. What type of cash flows? Operating cash flows. Okay. Now let us discuss how do you manage this economic exposure. So meaning tilkondidaito, now let us discuss how do you manage this economic exposure. The first way is selecting a low cost production location. So ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಲೊಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ wherein the cost of production will be as low as possible. So whenever we are talking about our international trade ಅಥವಾ international business, the domestic currency will become stronger in future. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ನ ನಾವು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ, ಡೊಮೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗರ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್. It will have an effect of reducing competitive position of the firm. Definitely ಯಾವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ, ಆವಾಗ the competitive position also will be even more stronger. So reducing competitive position ಅಂದರೆ we can face this competition more confidently in near future. In such a case, it can choose to set up its production facilities in a foreign country where the cost is low. ಅವಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ the businessmen or the firms should try to establish their business in those countries wherein they can reduce their cost of production. Low cost can be due to lower price of factors of production. You know about the factors of production, students, that is all the 4 factors of production like land, labor, capital and organization. ಈ ನಾಲ್ಕು ನಾವು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ then definitely you can ensure low cost production. This is one method of managing this economic exposure which is uncontrollable. The second one you have is adoption of flexible sourcing policy. Easy way of reducing economic exposure is to buy the inputs from the place where the cost is low. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಾವು inputs, raw materials should be purchased from the place where the cost is very low. By doing so, it is not limited to raw material. ಈ ಥರ ಬರೀ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಾರ್ದು. ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಆಲ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್, ಮನಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಿಷಿನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ದ ಫರ್ಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹೈಯರ್ ಲೋ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಪವರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅಬ್ರಾಡ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಒಂದೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ಅದರ್ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಹೈಯರ್ಡ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಮೆನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಹೈಯರ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಲೋ price. Okay, so low cost manpower andre yaru men. The third point of managing this economic disorder is that making R&D effort for product differentiation. So R&D strengthens competitive position of a firm against the adverse effect of exchange rate changes. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ exchange rate change ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ what do you mean by that? Because how do you face that? It is possible only by conducting research and development activities. So ಈ research and development activities continuous ಆಗಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ then it creates a sort of that is competitive sportiveness in the mind of a firm, and thus it creates a confidence that they can face any competition, and thus they will be in a position to fight these changes in the exchange rate. So it brings again in productivity, reduction in cost that the firm offers. Okay, ಅವಾಗ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ R&D efforts for product differentiation. The last one you have is hedging through financial product. So for effective management of economic exposure, financial products should be used as supplementary. So yavaglu financial products should be used as a supplementary. The firm can borrow or lend foreign currency on long-term basis. So long-term basis ali they can borrow loans or funds and currencies. Okay, this is called as hedging through what? Financial support. I am repeating. So for effective management of economic exposure, okay, so our economic exposure na ನಾವು effective ಆಗಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ financial product should be used as a supplementary. What do you mean by financial product can be used as a supplementary? That is, the firm can borrow or lend the foreign currency on long term basis. Okay, so these are the 4 ways as to how we can manage our economic exposure. Now under this economic exposure we have another 2 points, that is transaction exposure. So what do you mean by this transaction exposure? This exposure refers to the extent to which the future value of firm's domestic cash flow is affected by exchange rate fluctuations. So exchange rate fluctuation iddaga how our future value of our domestic cash flow will be affected. So this is called as transaction exposure. Okay, illi we are making use of the word domestic cash flow. Okay, so it refers to the extent to which the future value of what firm's domestic cash flow is affected because of this exchange rate fluctuations. It arises from the possibility of what? Incurring foreign exchange gains or losses on transaction. So yavaglu transaction iddaga there may be either gain or loss already entered into and denomination in a foreign currency. Denomination andre what do you mean by denomination? It is nothing but that is which is expressed in a foreign currency. Okay, so this is the second point. it arises, transaction exposure arises from what? Possibility of incurring what? Foreign exchange gains or losses on transaction which is already entered into. These transactions have already been entered into and it has been expressed in a foreign currency. The degree of transaction exposure, it depends upon what? Extent to which a foreign firm's transaction is in foreign currency. So ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಇದು ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ವಾಟ್? ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಟು ವಿಚ್ ಎ ಫರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್? ಫಾರಿನ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ. Example, the transaction exposure will be more if the firm has more transactions in foreign currency. ಸೊ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕಡಿಮೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರು ಕೂಡ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್? ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಟೂ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್. Internal techniques for management of transaction exposure. The first one you have is choice of a particular currency for invoicing receivable and payables. So first technique that you have to select here is we have to select a particular currency for invoicing receivable and payables. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದು ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಐದರ್ ರಿಸೀವಬಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪೇಯಬಲ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ಎ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ. ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ಎ ಫರ್ಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನೆಗೋಷಿಯೇಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕೌಂಟರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಐದರ್ ಟು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಆರ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ ಆರ್ ಅನದರ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನೆಗೋಷಿಯೇಟ್ either with their own currency or another currency, but which moves very closely with its own currency. Andre adashtu the value of the currency of our domestic country or domestic currency should be more or less very much closely related to the currency of another country. ಆ ಥರ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಆವಾಗ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್. For example, if an Indian company is able to invoice all its sales and purchases in rupees, then its revenues and costs will not be affected at all by currency fluctuations. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೇಲ್ಸು ಮತ್ತು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸು, ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ರುಪೀಸಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸು ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಎನಿ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಚುವೇಷನ್ಸ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಈ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಆನ್ ದ ಸೇಫರ್ ಸೈಡ್. ಬಟ್ ಇದನ್ನೇನಾದರೂ ನಾವು ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸು, ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಇವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಎಸ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಆವಾಗ ಎನಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅವರ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಆವಾಗ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೋದು. ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಫುಲ್ಲು ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬರ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಆದಷ್ಟು ನಾವು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೋದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಗುಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಟು ಹೌ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಯುವರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲೆಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ ಟು ಎಡ್ಜ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್ನ ನಾವು ಎಡ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮೆಥಡ್. ಇನ್ ಸಮ್ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ possible to diversify exchange exposure by using currency basket unit. Okay, so ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ ಬ್ಯಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ? SDR. What is this SDR? Special drawing rights. This is called as what? Special drawing rights. Okay, I am repeating. So there is another way for diversifying exchange exposure. How? By using that is currency basket units. Okay, so basket andre there is a basket and takshana you have different types of currencies in this basket which is called as special drawing rights. And this special drawing rights, it comprises or consists of 5 currencies, students: US dollar, the Japanese yen, British pound, matte German mark and the French franc. The last two, ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರು German mark and French mark, have that is currencies have since ceased to be in use. So ಅದು ಇನ್ನು ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ after the introduction of what? Euro. Okay, so this is about the first one, that is selecting a particular currency for invoicing receivables and payables. There I am discussing about the various techniques that can be used for managing what? Transaction exposure. The second one you have is leads and lags. So it can be explained with the following example, students. First one, that is a firm has payable of US dollars 200 due in 3 months. And it was due in how many months? 3 months. How much? $200. Fearing depreciation of rupee. So rupee depreciate ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಯದಿಂದ it may renegotiate to make payment in 2 months. ಓಕೆ, ಆವಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಡ್ಯೂ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಎಷ್ಟು 3 months ಡ್ಯೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು, ಬಟ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ us to make the payment within 2 months. Why? Because the rupee may depreciate. With this fear they are making, this is called as what? Lead ಅಂತ. Okay, conversely ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಫರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಲೇ ದ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಕಂಪನಿ ಯಾವ ಫರ್ಮು ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೋ ಅವರು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಡಿಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಇಫ್ ಆ್ಯನ್ ಅಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ ಈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಟಿಸಿಪೇಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಹೋಮ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಆ್ಯಂಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಅದನ್ನು ಡಿಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾರೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಫರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ದ ಸೆಟಲ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಫರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಡಿಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾರೆ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಫರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂಚೆನೇ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ದೇ ಆಂಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ದಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಹೋಮ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಲೀಡ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್. Third one you have is netting. So netting is a technique where transaction entities try to match the maturity dates and currencies of receivables and payables between themselves. ಇದನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎ ಕಂಪನಿ ಎ sells its products to company B for rupees 50,000. So A is selling a product to B for rupees 50,000 and buys from B for rupees how much? 25,000. And it is buying from B for rupees 25,000. So total transaction worth is 75,000. ನೋಡಿ, the second one ಏನಿದೆ, the combined exposure of the companies A and B is obviously rupees 75,000. How much was the exposure of A? 50,000, and B the exposure is to 25,000. Putting together you have 75,000. But by netting, the exposure is reduced to rupees how much? 25,000. How do you get 25,000? 75,000 putting together ಆದರೆ, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 50,000 ಎ ಬಿಗೆ ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಬಿ ಇಂದ ಎ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದೆಷ್ಟು? 25,000. ಆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು? 25,000. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ನೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್. ನಾವು ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಮೀನಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ ವೇರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ they try to match the maturity dates and currencies of receivables and payables. So maturity date na ಯಾವುದು ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? ಕರೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೀವಬಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪೇಯಬಲ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ವಾಟ್? ದೆಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಸ್. ಅವರವರೇ ಅದನ್ನು ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ನೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಸ್ವ್ಯಾಪ್. ಓಕೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಡು ಯು ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ದಿಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಸ್ವ್ಯಾಪ್? Under this method, two companies located in two different countries, they agree to exchange loans in their respective currencies. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ there are two companies and these companies are located in what? Two different countries. They agree to exchange loans in their respective currencies. Example ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ loans are given for a pre-decided fixed deposit at a pre-decided exchange rate. ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಆರ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಫಾರ್ ವಾಟ್? pre-decided fixed period at a pre-decided exchange rate. ಓಕೆ, ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ರೇಟು ಪ್ರಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆನ್ ಮೆಚುರಿಟಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ದ ಸಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ರೀಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್. ಸೊ ಮೆಚುರಿಟಿ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಫರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಲೋನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾರೆ? ರೀಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾರೆ. This arrangement can work effectively between MNCs of two different countries, each having subsidiaries in the country of the other. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ನೀವು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಸ್ವ್ಯಾಪು ನೀವು ನಡೆಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ the MNCs of two different countries, that is they should have their subsidiaries in the country of the other. So these are the conditions. Okay students, so first condition, it is located in two different countries and they agree to exchange loans in their respective currencies. Second condition, loans are given for a pre-decided fixed period ಮತ್ತೆ pre-decided exchange rate. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆನ್ ಮೆಚುರಿಟಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ದ ಸಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ರೀಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ಡ್. I mean, this arrangement can work effectively only when between MNCs of two different countries, each having their subsidiaries in the country of the other. So example, ಇವಾಗ discuss ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ all these points will be even more clear to you students. Okay, what is that example? Mitsubishi, an MNC of Japan, so it has a subsidiary in USA. So this Japan country is having its subsidiary in USA, while Microsoft, it is an MNC of which country? USA. It has a subsidiary in Japan. So here one point is clear. There are two there are two MNCs. One is Japan and USA. So Mitsubishi is an MNC of Japan and Microsoft is an MNC of USA, and this Japan is also having a subsidiary in USA, and this USA is also having its subsidiary in Japan. The subsidiary of Mitsubishi located in USA, it needs to raise a dollar loan, whereas the subsidiary of Microsoft located in Japan needs yen loan. Okay, ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರದು ಕರೆನ್ಸಿನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. So in USA, that is Japan wants a loan in dollar, and then similarly USA needs a loan in Japan, that is yen. Okay, each parent company can advance loans to the subsidiary of the other in the former's home currency. So our the home currencies only they are going to advance the loans. The loan amount is equivalent in the two currencies, of course. So loan amount ಎಷ್ಟೇ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅದು it will be the same when you express in the currencies of the two countries. After the period of loan is over, under maturity, the sum will again be re-exchanged. ನಾನು ಇನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ previously, one of the condition is that on maturity the sums are again re-exchanged. Third point. Okay, so illi the sums will be re-exchanged. Thus the two companies have been able to manage their exchange risk internally. So that is how they are managing their risk internally, so that they can reduce their exposure. Okay, I think you understood, students, about the back-to-back credit swap. Last one you have is sharing risk. The two companies from two different countries practice this technique. Okay, so the two companies, they are from two different countries, they practice this technique. The basic principle underlying this technique, then what is the main principle that you have to follow under this technique is that neither the benefit of the favorable movement of the exchange rate should go to one party, nor the entire loss due to the unfavorable movement of the exchange rate to another party. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಏನು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, the basic principle is that is the benefit, profit of the favorable movement ಇದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, profit of the exchange rate, profit should not be enjoyed either by one party, or at the same time loss on account of unfavorable movement should not be of the exchange rate should not be enjoyed by only one person. Okay, so ಅವಾಗ you can have this sharing risk, ಅಂದರೆ which means that profit ಇರಲಿ loss ಇರಲಿ, it should be shared between both the countries. Okay, ಅವಾಗ then you can manage this exposure. Okay, I think this is the fifth one, that is sharing risk. I think so students you understood that. And the second one that I told was operating exposure. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. This economic exposure is also called as what? Operating exposure. Why? Because it emphasizes the impact of exchange rate on operating cash flows ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ನೀವು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Okay, then second one you have is external techniques for management of transaction exposure. So what are those external techniques? Okay, so first one you have is use of currency forward market. What is the first one, student? Use of currency forward market. So what do you mean by this? It is a binding contract in the foreign exchange market which locks in the exchange rate for the purchase or sale of the currency on a future date. So future date ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ, it is going to be locked. Okay, so it is a binding contract in the foreign exchange market that locks in the exchange rate for the purchase or sale of a currency on a future date. Use of money market, where financial instruments with highly liquidity and short-term maturities are traded. So in money market we are going to trade the financial instruments with high liquidity and also some of the instruments which have short term maturities. The next one you has use of currency option market. So with this currency option market it gives the buyer the right but not the obligation to buy or sell. Okay, it gives the buyer the right but not the obligation to buy or sell certain currency at a specified exchange rate either on or before a specific date. That is, it is giving the buyer, I am repeating, the right. The rights ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ but not the obligation. It is not obligated to buy or sell. So ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ rights ಇದೆ but it is not obligated to buy or sell a certain currency at a specified exchange rate on or before a specified date. The fourth one you have is use of currency future market. What do you mean by currency future market? It specifies the price in one currency at which another currency can be bought or sold at a future date. So the price at which one currency can be bought and sold at a future date. So these techniques are known as what? External techniques, simply because the various instruments that are used as external to a business organization. That is why it is called as what? External techniques, students. Okay. So with this, I will be completing my PowerPoint presentation. So I hope you all have understood. So go through this presentation, students.